Welcome GMB pros. Welcome GMB pros. Those that are catching the replay, those that are catching on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys' support. Again, I want to remind everyone the goal of GMB pros is twofold: to help you get better results for your clients, and number two is to help grow your agency, right? Those are the ultimate goal of GMB pros. And we do that by having guests on where they speak on their subject matter, maybe give over the shoulder examples on how to do that. And today I'm super excited to have Caleb. Caleb is a longtime friend. Back in 2019, I first met Caleb in San Diego at the LMV what do you call that? Mastermind, I guess, gathering.
LMV Live.
Yeah, yep, LMV Live. And Caleb went on there, and we kind of just, his message really resonated with me, and we hit it off. And he had a program how to prospect, get clients, get your first 10K on Upwork. He really polished that process. And again, guys, Caleb is in the trenches. He has an 8-figure agency or 7-figure agency with Upwork. So when people tell me that Upwork doesn't work, no, it doesn't. Caleb probably just laughs and says, "Keep thinking that way. Stay out of my world." So again, it's a real honor, guys. You if you've been with me and followed me for a little bit or heard some of my talks before, you probably heard me mention Caleb on numerous occasions when it comes to Upwork. Definitely still works, definitely is a project that made an impact on me. Caleb, how are you, man?
Yeah, man, I'm doing great. Thank you for that introduction. I gotta ask you something. This has really been on my mind. Are you ever going to change the name of the group to GBP Pros?
Probably not. I don't know. I never even thought about it. GMB is kind of stuck. It flows off the tongue a little bit easier, I think.
Oh, GBP is much more awkward to say. I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So Caleb, tell us where you've been, for those of you that don't really know you, and if I missed anything, where you've been, where you're at now, and where you're kind of headed.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So we were still sending Upwork proposals, still involved with that, but ChatGPT came out in, I don't know, was it 22 or 23? So the years run together. And the big one, right? The ChatGPT 3. Of course, now we're on 4 Omni, and ChatGPT 5 is expected this summer. But when ChatGPT 3 came out, one of the things that I often say, and you probably heard me say this, Alfredo, is that tool hopping is just a giant waste of time. Like, choose the tools that work at a reasonable price and just use them and move on with your life. It's a massive time sink to think about jumping to other tools, or, hey, maybe this tool is a little bit better. Like, only think about other tools if they're like truly, truly game-changing for your business, right? So Go High Level was one of those, and frankly, the only one that came out since I started my agency in 2016 that I actually jumped tools for, with the exception, of course, of when ChatGPT came out. And I didn't really start paying a lot of attention to it until ChatGPT 4, which honestly, I think 4 came out within a few months of 3. Started playing around with it and realizing the impact, the power that ChatGPT 4 had on how we did SEO, on how we had our procedures, our systems, our processes set up. And then we started to, think about, okay, well, how is this going to adjust in the future? And this was before Google came out with the Search Generative Experience, the SGE, which now they just call the AI Overview. But it seemed pretty clear that with another iteration or two, a technology like ChatGPT could basically do to a lot of informational queries what Google did to the search query mortgage calculator. So this is my favorite example for this. Have I told you this before, Alfredo?
I think
You know where I'm going?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So back in the day, like, 2017, 2018, a lot of big companies pushed a lot of money to try to rank number one or number two for the search term mortgage calculator, right? People who were searching for a mortgage calculator often were interested in a mortgage. So a lot of financial companies wanted to rank and get the leads. Well, then what Google did, and if you go to Google right now and type in mortgage calculator, you can see this for yourself. Google put a mortgage calculator on the SERP above all of the organic results. So the click-through rate went from 95+% to like 60%. So a lot of these companies basically lost a third of their SEO traffic overnight. They did nothing wrong, nothing changed. Google just stopped sending them traffic. So with an AI overview, you quickly come to realize, well, hey, if Google can answer informational queries on the SERP, the click-through rate is probably going to drop for a lot of these informational queries. So with that in mind, we did very, very little local SEO. We're focused on big national SEO campaigns. But with that realization, maybe there's a few more iterations before AI can, change your water heater. Maybe that's coming, but it's at least a little bit farther away than AI being able to answer an informational query. So we decided that we're going to sort of start a sub-agency and focus on local SEO clients, and growing that with the, concern that a SEO campaign based on information queries would gradually lose value as the AI overview got better and better and better. Now, there's all sorts of rumors about this. Of course, Google just recently, within the last few weeks, started rolling out the AI overviews on a lot of its queries. And generally, the feedback to their AI overviews has been awful, right? People just don't like them. Plus, I think Google may have underestimated the pure amount of computing power it takes to answer the trillions of searches that are done on a regular basis on Google search. So I'm hearing rumors that Google might make the AI overviews a paid feature. Of course, if they did that, like, no one would ever pay for that. Like, maybe 6 strange people would do it, but that's about it. So I don't know, there's still a lot changing in the world of SEO. Like, the past few months I've seen more change than since I started in the industry up until a few months ago, right? Major Google core updates, the AI overview. I'm sure you heard about this, Alfredo. The Google search API documentation leaked. And Google confirmed it was real. So just a lot of crazy things happening in the world of AI. So a lot of that, we're still active on Upwork, but all of this craziness that's happened over the past few months has had almost no impact on local SEO. So if you're in the local SEO space, you can freely, for now at least, ignore all of this craziness, and just keep, banging away. Man, you know what? I forgot what you asked me. I just sort of went off and talked about whatever I wanted to there. Hopefully that answered your question.
Well, no, it was kind of like, where you were, where you're at now, and where you're kind of going as far as.
So that did answer the question.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's awesome to see, guys. And one thing with Caleb, he's in the trenches, guys. He's in the trenches. As you heard, he still runs his Upwork agency. He's starting up the local agency in South. So he has a pulse. And one thing that Caleb taught me is running your SEO business as a business, right? Not as a hobby, keeping track of your processes, keeping track, your fulfillment. And one thing, Caleb, it's straightforward, guys. It doesn't BS. If it works, run with it. Don't follow the next shiny thing, right? Works head first, just roll with it.
I mean, what you said, that's a really important point. A lot of people who started SEO agencies, their agency gets to a certain size, and then they go and they start a YouTube channel, right? I started one. I saw you started one. But you still got to keep doing SEO, because otherwise, otherwise you're going to be left behind. And what you're talking about, SEO, doesn't work anymore. And yeah, pre-AI, it might take 3, 4, 5 years of ignoring developments before you get left behind. But I mean, now it's just, right, like the helpful content update in the autumn of 23 crushed a bunch of affiliate niche sites. And the few that didn't get crushed, most of them then got crushed in March. So what was working 6 months ago and getting SEO traffic from Google just doesn't work anymore. So if you aren't in the trenches, if you aren't doing SEO and you're giving people advice, I mean, that's hard to do that and it be good at actionable advice.
So I remember, when we were doing the Upwork and you were doing the SEO and local. One of the things that you said, hey guys, it's really simple, right? Kind of diversify your ranking factors, put some good content out there, some keywords, some backlinks, some interlinking, all the best practices, right? The title tags, the meta tags. So, I think that's kind of stayed true. Just like with AI, and maybe you can correct me, Caleb, is it helps you do the heavy lifting, right? You can only do so many, like, especially if you have different niches, right? Speak on that niche, or if you're not an expert in that particular niche, it's me anyways, right? It's like your brain is exploding, like you want to hit a minimum dosage of effective of 1,000, the content, right? 1,500 word content, so you can get the keywords, LSI, and the entities in there. So I think with AI, it helps you do that heavy lifting, especially like you said in local, right? It'll help, it really hasn't changed. You hit those pillars. I remember using that word, hit these 4 pillars, and Google will show, show you some love and help you. With AI, would you agree that that helps you do the heavy lifting? And are you just using ChatGPT, Caleb?
Yeah, so great question. So, and I would 100% agree that what AI does is it helps someone, a human, do SEO better, faster, and more of it. So, you mentioned keyword research. In a lot of ways, like keyword research just isn't as important now as it was even a year or two ago, because with the helpful content update with EEAT, Google is focusing a lot on the overall domain's topical relevance, topical authority. And with AI, right? So with keyword research, the goal was, hey, let me find a bunch of related keywords. Let me see how challenging they are to rank for. And then I'm going to write content for the ones that I think I can actually rank for, because content was expensive. Now content is dirt cheap. So I'm just going to write for all of it. Like, who cares? I'm just going to write all of the content because I can. I have AI to do it. So an example, right? And I just pulled it up, one of the prompts that we use. So if I were doing keyword research for local SEO, my example is a plumber in Houston. We used to spend 4 or 5 hours to do this keyword research. And now we spend about 15 minutes, just a prompt, right? So here's the prompt. I'll read it real quick. So it starts with, you are a local search engine optimization expert. Now, this is kind of a funny side note, right? ChatGPT does a lot better when you ask it to role play. Not like what you and your spouse do in the bedroom, but you ask it to pretend it is someone who is an expert in what you're asking it questions about. So we're telling ChatGPT, hey, you know everything about local SEO. Just that one simple trick will give much better results. Okay. So give me some keyword ideas for a local plumber in Houston, Texas. Include keywords that target specific neighborhoods in Houston and keywords for a variety of services a local plumber would want customers for. Keep in mind seasonal trends and local language nuances. Mention local events and landmarks in the keywords. So the reason that prompt is so ridiculously powerful, if you gave ChatGPT that prompt, it would start to give you things like broken pipe in the Heights, leaky faucet in Bel Air, all of these small local neighborhoods in the Houston area. It might mention the Houston Rodeo, which is the largest rodeo in the world. It happens annually in Houston. Now you don't know these things unless you like actually live in Houston or spend hours reading Reddit threads and TripAdvisor about Houston, Texas, which who has the time for that? But ChatGPT knows all of it. So now when you write content and you start talking about, right, what it's like to replace pipes in the historic neighborhood of Montrose, that gives massive geographic relevance for Google's algorithm, because Google knows that Montrose is a neighborhood in Houston. But most plumber websites aren't writing content at that level of depth. And I almost know lead gen sites are writing content at that level of depth. So it's just massively powerful to leverage ChatGPT to do something that we used to spend hours doing. And then we can take that, all those target keywords, we can come up with topically relevant keyword variations, semantically relevant keyword variations. We can use the people also ask section to have ChatGPT generate FAQ sections for us to give comprehensiveness and authoritativeness. And, you know, in just a few hours, we now have dozens of articles on our Plumber Houston, Texas website that talk about living and working in Houston as if, you know, you lived and worked in Houston,
Yeah,
which
100%.
Google wants to see.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Caleb, is it kind of how can I say it, like prudent to become more of, or is that a skill that we should develop, a prompt engineer or polish the prompts that we use on a daily? Because like you said, what you put into it is really what you get out of it, and what you can use it for, like next level, right? It's not only like where you're at, what you want to do, keywords, act like this, and give me some ideas. How even I notice how the break or the results, how you want the results to be broken down, you know, in a table chart, or just, you know, even your result makes a difference within the prompt.
Absolutely. Like some of the prompts that we use on a regular basis are 2,000 words long.
Wow. Wow.
The better your prompt is, the better the results you're going to get. So another quick tip, right? If you're using AI to write for you, which you should be doing, you shouldn't be using human writers anymore. You need a human editor, right? Don't take content straight from ChatGPT or Gemini and post it directly onto your website. You do need to edit it. And your editor is always doing two things for you. Make sure this is very clear for them. Number one, AI systems hallucinate. And this is a very polite term that basically means they just make, I was about to swear there, they just make things up. They just say things very confidently that are blatantly untrue, like a lot of white men, right? Just blatantly untrue, but exceptional confidence, so you believe it. So one, your editor needs to fact check to make sure it is actually correct. And then number two, they need to add, and this is a tough, they need to make the content feel more human, right? They need to add uniqueness. They need to add personal anecdotes. They need to add opinions. They need to add advice. They need to give the article human experience, which, you know, AI doesn't have human experience, so it doesn't do. Now, all that being said, with the human experience, the anecdotes, you know, AI loves the word delve for some reason. Humans don't use that word very much. You can ask it to do things like that, right? You can tell it, hey, don't use the word delve. You know, keep the language simple. You know, write at a 5th grade reading level. Write the first section. You know, use these as headlines. You get, so the more specific you are, you know, use anecdotes. One cool trick is if you go to Reddit or something and you go to like the DIY plumbing forum, what you'll find on the DIY plumbing forum, again, I'm talking about my plumber in Houston, is most of the people who are posting that are people who would need plumbing services, right? And they're posting on Reddit asking for advice. You don't want to go to the professional plumbing forum because that's going to be plumbers asking for advice. But you need your content to speak to your customer, not to your client. So you go to Reddit, you look for the top voted comments, the top voted threads, you copy all those, and you give it to ChatGPT and say, hey, analyze this content for tone and style. I want you to write like these. So any number of things you can do like this to get ChatGPT to be eerily more and more sounding like a human. And the more specific you are, you can ask it to generate files for you for download. You can tell it what format you want things in. You can give it Excel files, PowerPoint slides, and it will happily analyze, summarize them. One cool thing, I get a lot of emails from clients and they all usually ask the same questions. So I went into my email history of all the questions that I'd asked or that I'd answered for clients, and I gave all of that information to ChatGPT. And then I hooked ChatGPT's API into my Outlook, my email provider. So anytime I get an email, ChatGPT will write a reply and it keeps it in draft, right? So I review it before I send it. But 70% of the time it does a pretty good job at actually writing a reply in my style of writing, because I gave it my writing and asked it, hey, please write a reply in this style and cadence with this information in it. So the prompt engineering, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. I mean, it's hugely important to ChatGPT 4. It's even for Omni, which is their latest and greatest. I am anxious for ChatGPT 5 to come out because one of the things that OpenAI says about it is that the need for that level of prompt engineering will go down. The ChatGPT 5 will just naturally be better, and you won't need to have 2,000 words of instruction. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll see.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, thanks. And how did you, is it to trial and error, Caleb, or how did you improve your prompts, or how did you polish your prompts?
So that's funny. I'll be honest here. So I started to get serious about my YouTube channel in January. And I've been posting at least one video a week, every week since January of 24. And I posted one video about using AI to improve and rank existing content higher, right? And in that video, I go through, go to the Search Console, download some CSVs, give that to ChatGPT, copy paste the content, and ask ChatGPT to rewrite the content so it ranks higher. It's like super simple, but it actually freaking works. And that video exploded. And I mean, exploded a relative term, of course. I have still have, but back then it had an even smaller channel. But that video got like 10,000 views or something, which is insane for the size of my channel. So then I realized, what I need to be doing? Like, man, I need to be talking about AI. AI SEO is what people want. Yeah, there I am. AI SEO is what people want to hear about, want to learn about. So I just started publishing more and more content about AI SEO. And, within a couple of months, I start, watching everyone else's channels. I joined some premium memberships with a few different well-known SEO folks just to learn more and more, started applying it. Actually, have 2 fewer full-time employees now than we did at the beginning of this year, with more client work and more clients and better results. I mean, again, like stuff like a click-through rate analysis, which low fruit, you can crush it for your client if you do a good click-through rate analysis. That used to take 2 or 3 days of time to go through URL by URL. What are they ranking for? What's the rank position? Should we rewrite the title tag meta, blah, blah, blah. I mean, literally, you can do that full 2-day CTR analysis in 20 minutes by giving ChatGPT a few files and asking it to do the analysis for you. I mean, it's insane. So yeah, that's Yeah, so I learned way more about SEO once I started realizing that basically that's what people wanted to hear about, wanted to see about. And I already knew like a little bit, enough to be dangerous, but once I like started that deep dive and focusing on it for my YouTube channel, that's where it really started to click.
Awesome. So this is what I'm talking about, guys, being in the trenches, right? Learning it, not in theory, in taking action. I think you really learn. And, Caleb and I were talking about even the Upwork, you know, Caleb get the framework, gets okay, this is the idea. But once you take that plan and start executing, man, things start clicking. I think like what Caleb says, so it's taking action. So if we can switch gears a little bit, Caleb, we talked about website, keyword, I think keyword research is with everything, but if we can switch gears to Google business profiles and AI, have you seen anything different? I know a while back we talked a little bit about the Google business or GMB profiles. How do you utilize AI with that?
Yeah, great question. So the short answer is, and I briefly mentioned this, right? There's been very little impact on local SEO, but a massive impact on the fulfillment side. Unknown caller. Basically, everything on the fulfillment side is easier, faster, better using the help of AI. So, it's funny, looks like it was May 21st, like 6 weeks ago, I published a video that was using AI to optimize your Google business profile. So, one of the most common things, we get a new client, new local business client. If they have a Google business profile, and a lot of them don't, but even if they have one, they probably have one category, their primary category, and maybe half a dozen services or so, right? Google allows you to have 10 categories, and I haven't hit a max on the number of services, so I don't know if there's a limit. So the first thing that we do is obviously we want at least 5 or 6 GBP categories. We want a few dozen services. And the easiest way to do that is to ask ChatGPT to generate lists for us. It does a great job. You'll need a description. Again, just a quick little blurb. ChatGPT can handle that for us. We used to do a GBP message integration, but that's going away at the end of July. So obviously we don't do that anymore. And then we want to make sure the content on their website is very, very synergistic with the Google business profile, right? So the GBP landing page, and I'm sure your viewers are familiar with that terminology, but that's basically the URL in your Google business profile. And if you're a single location business, that will almost always be your homepage. If you're a multi-location business, then it probably won't be. But on whatever your GBP landing page is, you want to mention all of your GBP categories in H1 should be your primary category, of course, and then a bunch of H2 tags to talk about all of the secondary categories. And you want to mention all of your GBP services in whatever category they're a most relevant fit for. So I actually, literally before we got on this, I just recorded a video. It'll be a few weeks before it comes out. But what did I call it? I called it a single prompt that will, dramatically improve your local rankings, where we get all of that information, the existing content, all the services, all the categories, give all of that to ChatGPT and ask it to rewrite the homepage content, the GBP landing page content, to be much more topically relevant, using exact match keywords, things like that. And it's weird, right? Google obviously has their own AI, Gemini. So it's weird that exact match is still as effective as it is. Maybe an update to local SEO is coming out where it will stop being as effective as it is. But honestly, just using every GBP category and every GBP service exact match can do a lot to improve local rankings. Feels weird, but that combined with like a Chamber of Commerce link is enough to win at a lot of small to medium-sized cities.
So AKA your home button, change that to what Caleb's talking about. GBP categories. Use the what is that? Like your logo to be go back to the home page, right? Don't waste that menu or that section in the menu home where you can do that as your logo. That's so true. Literally, and it is weird, right? Changing the home page to the drop down menu to match everything on your category. Well, that's the method that we've taken. But yeah, it definitely works for sure.
Yeah.
So for those that didn't know, Caleb has mentioned it as well. You can upload PDFs, you can upload different files within ChatGPT. Really utilize that and optimize that.
So one thing that I love doing, I do this pretty frequently now. If you're familiar with this SEO tool, it's kind of advanced. It's called Screaming Frog. So you can get Screaming Frog. It's free unless you have more than, I think it's 500 URLs. If you're a local business website, you probably don't have 500 URLs, so it's free. But basically you can run Screaming Frog and it will allow you to download CSV files of all the URLs, all the title tags, all the meta descriptions. And then you run on over to Google Search Console, and Google Search Console is the gold standard for data, right? Every other tool that gives you data, they're guessing, but the Search Console is giving you actual data. So definitely gold standard there. But the challenge is the Search Console, it just presents you with data, right? Excuse me. A lot of those third-party tools, Ahrefs, Moz, whatever. Man, I'm going to get there. They do a lot of analysis for you. Sadly, their analysis is based on inaccurate data. But with Search Console, we can go there and we can download CSV files for every single URL with all of the keywords that URL is ranking for, its rank position, its CTR, everything that we could possibly want. We can give ChatGPT both of those files and ask it to generate a file that has every URL along with its title tag, its meta description, and every query it's ranking for, along with CTR, rank position, impression volume, whatever we want. ChatGPT will take those two CSVs, do its thing, and give us a CSV file that we can download, which basically then has everything that you could possibly want to know about that website. So then you can give that file back to ChatGPT and ask it whatever you can think of, right? The sky is the limit. Like you can ask it anything about the website. Hey, do you see any places for improvement? Do you see, like, based on this file, how would you improve the local search traffic to this website? I mean, you can ask it anything you can think of. And of course, there's a bunch of good example questions that you can ask. But yeah, I mean, just being able to give it multiple CSV files and ask it to combine into a single, I mean, it's just, yeah, don't, you can have it do the TLDR, like when the Google search API leak happened, it was huge, right? It was 14,000 attributes, 2,500 pages of content. Well, if you gave that file to ChatGPT and said, hey, can you summarize the most important points for this? Then it wouldn't do it, but because the file is too big. So you'd have to do it through the Open API or the Open AI API. Then you could analyze it and ask it for its for the TLDR version of that leak. And so the day after that leak happened, I published a video on my YouTube channel because I knew it was going to be obviously a trending topic. And I did that basically because, clearly we have the whopping $20 a month premium ChatGPT, which you should definitely get. The free version, you can't give it files and stuff like that. So you should definitely get it's worth $20. So we took the Open AI API and asked it to analyze the leaked API documents from Google search, asked it to give us its quickest, summary of it, analysis of it. And then I think it was like a 10-minute YouTube video or something that we got out like very quickly the next day because of, you know, AI helping analyze.
Yeah, 100%. And if you guys haven't caught it yet, and Caleb, that's one of the first things that he taught me was, man, don't guess. Let data dictate. Let data tell you,
Yeah.
what to do next, and you'll never fall short. You'll never go wrong, right?
But with one exception, right? Like if it's really easy to do, just do it. Like
Yeah,
one thing that I hear all the time is geotagging, right? Geotagging images that you upload to your GBP. We still do it. I've heard from a lot of people that it's a waste of time. Why would you do that? It's silly. Well, whatever. It takes 5 minutes. So we still do it. Like, I'm not going to split test if geotagging works or not when it takes 5 minutes to do. I'm just going to do it. But if it's something that takes real effort, then yeah, you got to split test it. You got to let the data tell you what is actually going to work and what isn't going to work, right?
100%, 100%. Man, this has been great stuff, Caleb. Here as we end, one of the things is where can the GMB Pros community follow you? Where do you have anything going on? I know, let me share this real quick, guys. Boom, 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 boom. So, guys, this is Caleb, Caleb, last name Ulku. Great stuff. You're not doing this yourself, right? Or are you?
I'm recording the videos, but no, I have a video editor.
Nice, nice. Yeah, great stuff. So this is his YouTube channel, guys. Let's show him some love and support. Man, you already got 1,000 followers. That's amazing.
Yeah, we hit that maybe a week or so ago. That was really a very, very cool thing when we hit that.
Those unicorn, what do they call it? Unicorn rankings, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then Caleb's Facebook.
That's funny. My cover photo cuts my head off.
Yes, you got to click on it and then you'll see it. So, is there any other spot that you would maybe like the crew to kind of support you in, Caleb?
Yeah, I have a school community, obviously free to join, but you know, you can find the link in a lot of the YouTube videos. If you like that type of content, there's clearly more in the school community, quite a few free videos, free resources that I mentioned in the channel.
Awesome. Okay. So make sure, guys, we follow him, show him some support. You're definitely gonna learn. It's definitely Caleb does drop some gold nuggets that are very you can apply, right? Put into action and you can apply them, and it makes a big difference. Now, Caleb, one last question I asked it of all our guests is, what is a fun fact about Caleb that nobody knows?
I don't know. That's not a super easy question to answer.
I get that response all the time. So a fun fact about Caleb that nobody knows.
Man, I guess so. One of the reasons I got into SEO to begin with, and you know, once you decide to go into online marketing, digital marketing, anything like that, there's so many different approaches that you can go down. And you know, we went SEO, and people have asked like, "Hey, can you help me with my Google ads? Can you help me with my Facebook ads?" And our answer is always, "Nope, we don't do Google ads. We don't do YouTube ads. We don't do Facebook ads. We do SEO." And the reason for me, at least, is SEO, the terminology for it, it's a zero-sum game. So that means, right, there's only so much traffic, there's only so many searches. So when you improve your ranking and you get more calls, you get more traffic, that means you are actually taking away that traffic from someone else who used to get it, right? The search traffic, the search volume hasn't gone up. I mean, maybe it does, but not because of your SEO results. So your traffic increases come at somebody else's expense, which makes SEO so much more competitive than a lot of other of these online marketing types. So that competitive aspect of it, that puzzle aspect of it, is one of the reasons that I got really drawn into this as a focus area and not like Facebook ads or things like that. Because, you know, there's a lot of math and science behind Facebook ads. I'm an engineer by background. I spent 10 years working in big oil. So that aspect of, you know, let the data tell us what's working. Let's see where to adjust. You know, I mentioned the helpful content update, which which nailed a lot of sites back in last autumn, including a couple of mine. Like I had a couple of sites that, you know, just lost all their traffic, and they were making money and now they're not. And you might think like, hey, well, what have you done to recover those sites? And the answer is nothing. I've done nothing to recover those sites. Because usually when a Google algorithm hammers you, the correct response is to do nothing, wait and see how other websites recovered, and then do what they did. It's now been 9 months, and I have yet to see a single example of any website that has recovered any traffic after getting hit by the helpful content update. So that's an example of learn when to walk away, right? Like, okay, like just walk away. So I don't know, that sort of puzzle, you know, strategy game mindset, right? Like, I recorded a few YouTube videos this morning, which isn't something I love doing. So often in the afternoons after I do my recording, I get some good old Baldur's Gate 3 time in. And that, you know, optimization strategy, you know, honor mode is ridiculous on this game. I don't know if you've ever heard or played this game, but you know, honor mode doesn't let you save scrum, which is what most people do a lot in the game. So you actually have to, you know, you roll the die, and if it's a bad roll, then you just gotta suck up and live with it. And you know, sometimes that's true with SEO, right? I had a site that was making 5 figures, and now it's not making anything. Well, sometimes you lose that skill check.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So what I got from that is Caleb's a gamer, and you know, he definitely lets data, right? His career, his nature, he really leans into it as far as like keep it stupid simple, you know. Yeah, go in there, learn it, try it, and you're gonna polish your skills from that for sure. Well, Caleb, with that being said, I appreciate you, man. I thank you for, you know, the impact you've had in my marketing journey. I really do. And I appreciate you for your time, man. Thanks again.
Absolutely. It's been
And
absolutely a pleasure. Thank you for asking me to be on.
yeah, for sure. So with that being said, guys, much love, much success, and I'll see you on the next one.